Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that I see in the comments a lot, and a few popular coaches have popularized this idea, and I'm going to completely disagree with it. And that's this whole idea when people say, well, the weight on the bar doesn't matter, it's an accessory movement. And they'll say that even if you're doing the classic lifts as accessory movements, and I'm going to completely and utterly disagree. This whole mindset comes entirely out of the very heavy anabolic use into the strength world. When people are not using a bunch of stuff, that's just simply not true. It's not going to work. It's not effective. For you to say, I don't care about the weight on the bar, I can do whatever sets of 10 with 50%. Now, I will make the caveat and say that, look, if you're talking about small single joint exercises that you are taking to failure, all right, I want to make that clear. If we're talking about small movements that you are taking to failure, such as a curl, a tricep extension, right, a leg curl for your hamstrings, especially stuff on machines or dumbbell movements, right, small exercises, you can take those to failure very safely, very easily. Right? And if you're taking those to failure and they're done after all of your big work, your point is valid. The weight on the bar, the machine, the dumbbell probably isn't that important in the context of reaching failure. However, you better see an upward trend. In other words, if you're going to failure on a leg curl or some sort of machine curl, whatever it is, not that I care about biceps that much, but you're doing this and you're going to failure, but you're using the same weight for 6 months straight, I promise you that's not working either. Because that's the problem, isn't it? If a muscle is getting bigger, it should be getting stronger on your 10 rep, 15, 20 rep sets, right? Because we can argue about a neuromuscular component to a 1 rep max. All right, fine. Skill component. But a smaller exercise, especially done for reps, especially done for 10 plus reps, that is pure hypertrophy. There will be a direct correlation between the weight that you can move over time and the amount of muscle growth that's there. In other words, if you hit failure with, 30 pounds on this whatever single joint movement, if you hit failure at 15 reps with 30 pounds on it for 6 months straight, that exercise didn't do anything. Okay? I want to make that clear. You did not gain any muscle from it. Nothing. Because it didn't progress. Because had you gained muscle, that lift would have gone up. You would have reached failure at a higher and higher reps using the same weight. Right? Your 10 rep max should be turning into your 15 or your 20 rep max with the same weight. And that's just with smaller movements. Just with smaller movements. What about when we go to these bigger exercises? Because we're not taking these to failure. You'll see me do an incline, closed grip, good mornings, rows, all that stuff in here. Multi-joint exercises. It's particularly multi-joint exercises done with free weights. We're not taking these to failure. We need to care about the weight on the bar. We need to see an upward trend. We need to push for progression on them. Now that progression might be a percentage of your max, okay? Because maybe you program closed grip presses at 5% less than your flat bench. Okay, fine. You could even program your rows as a percentage of your bench max. All right, fine, no problem there. I would argue our strict row should be as strong as our bench. So if you're doing sets of 10, you could work at 70% of your bench max. And if you can't, then, well, you know that your back is a weak link. You know that your lats and everything are weak if you can't do that. But the point here is that it should go up in scale with the bigger lifts. And you'll see people say that, oh yeah, people shouldn't push good mornings at hard stop at this weight or these reps. Well, you're not going to get big and strong doing that. I mean, let's be realistic here. As someone who pushes the good morning hard, both for myself and my lifters, when people say silly stuff like, well, I'd stop it at 225 for sets of 10. Okay, that's basically saying you don't want to squat higher than 475. You don't want a 500-pound squat is what that says. You don't want a 600 deadlift. That's what you're basically telling me. because this exercise is a heavy hip hinge that uses those same muscles. It has direct carryover to those. So you're never going to get stronger at it. That's stupidity. You're never going to get stronger at this exercise. Well, then it's not doing anything anymore. Okay, if you've reached a strength level to where you can do 275 for sets of 10, but you're sticking with 225 for sets of 10 because someone told you that, a coach told you that online, drop the exercise. It's not doing anything. You're not getting bigger or stronger from it anymore. It's a complete waste of time. So basically, it's saying this is a useless exercise. Because if you're going to set an upward cap like that, that's what it is. You guys have seen me do 390 pounds for sets of 10 on the good morning. I put up clients of mine doing 340, 350 for over 12 reps. My max with the best bar on a good morning, at least when I made this, it'll probably be higher by the time the video comes out, is 555 pounds for a max. All right, 225 for 10 is nothing, because with that same bar, I do 390 if I've done 3 sets of 10. I'm a 600-pound squatter. So what does that tell you? What should you be looking at? So basically, the person giving you that advice is telling you that the good morning is useless for anyone who wants to squat a 500-plus pound weight. That it's useless for anyone who wants to deadlift 550 or more, because you're just doing warm-up sets. Keeping in mind, the muscle overlap is enormous. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you can squat 550 and deadlift 600, a 225 good morning for 10 reps is a warm-up. And if it doesn't feel like a warm-up, you've got some major muscle imbalances. Right? You have stuff you need to work on. So that's the problem with saying, oh, well, the weight on the bar doesn't matter. Oh, it's irrelevant. Just get a pump. Right? In no world does that work without copious amounts of anabolics. For a drug-free lifter, that is not going to work. You're just doing junk sets. For a guy who uses moderate amounts of stuff, let's go with the majority of people who use stuff out there. The majority don't use that much. Right? Do you think doing a bunch of sets that are 50 pounds less than they should be for the same number of reps? So let's say you can do 275 for 10 and you stop at 225 for 10. You really think a modest user is going to grow from that? I don't think they are. Should be pushing for performance. Your incline bench, your closed grip bench, your rows, your good mornings, your whatever, your glute bridges. You should absolutely care about the weight on the bar. And you should be pushing for progression. The only time we could say, well, it probably doesn't matter for progressive overload are smaller movements you're taking to failure. But like I said, if they're actually doing anything, and you just use the same weight, the reps are going to get higher and higher and higher. Where you were doing a weight where you were using for 10 reps, you're going to be doing 15 or 20 or 25 before long. And if you're not, then that exercise didn't cause any muscle growth. You wasted your time. Something's wrong with your programming. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.